Hello guys, Chris here, welcome back to another video. In this one, my friends, I'm going to be testing a GeForce GTX 1050 Ti in Battlefield 6 Beta. This one is the Asus ROG Strix version of the card. I'm running it with the latest Nvidia drivers and I'm not manually overclocking it. You can see all of its specs here in Tech Power Up's GPU Z, and over on the left, I'm pairing it with the i5 12600KF and 32GB of RAM. And yes, these are overkill specs for a GTX 1050 Ti, but we're only testing the GPU here today, so it doesn't matter. Let's get into it, shall we? First up, let's go over the settings. As usual, I'm starting at 1080p resolution, utilizing the lowest settings in the game and the FSR turned off at the moment. We're also going to test it out with some FSR, of course. Okay, so the 4GB GTX 1050 Ti is playing the game at 30 FPS at 1080p native resolution. That's not too terrible. That's actually not too far off of what the GTX 1650 did. Also a 4GB GDDR5 model that I have here in the channel. But this one is a bit slower and it's dropping into the 20s, as you can see. 1650 could actually handle this at 30 plus pretty much all of the time, although it was in one of the least intensive maps, but this one is also one of the least intensive maps. So there's that. So we're playing Conquest here with 64 players, guys, and the mayhem is about to happen. We are encountering enemies already. Let's throw a little grenade over there. Okay, they got a tank in that direction. I can barely see anything, and we're dropping down into the 20s, which is really, really terrible. But hey, at least the game doesn't look terrible at the low settings at 1080p resolution. It's a bit pixelated because of the lack of anti-aliasing, but I'm fine with that, honestly. In terms of visuals, it is still pretty good. Come on. And we got a kill already, so can't really complain about that. But yeah, as you can see, it does dip down into the 20s very often. 1% lows are at 24. Surprisingly, it doesn't stutter too much, but I got the game installed on an SSD, and we have plenty of RAM as well. So basically, whenever you run out of VRAM, which is definitely happening here... Oh, that's a sweet double kill. Okay, that was quite nice with the 1050 Ti. Alright, not too bad. But yeah, whenever you run out of VRAM, guys, it starts utilizing system RAM to offload textures and other information that should be on VRAM. Yeah, it goes into the RAM, which is a much slower memory than VRAM. So it slows down when that happens, and that's why we're seeing, or it could have been a little bit better of an experience if it wasn't running out of VRAM, you know. But come on, there we go, 20s. At least it still feels snappy, guys. Even with 20-something FPS drops, I can still play the game and aim at the enemies and kill them somehow. I don't even know how I'm doing this, but yeah. Now, whenever that RAM fills up, imagine if we had like 12 gigabytes of RAM. It would need an extra 4 gigabytes for the game to run fine. As you can see, it's using 16 gigs at the moment. And in that situation, it starts swapping into the SSD or hard drive. If you have a hard drive, it's going to be like slow as heck. You know, you're gonna drop into the single digits, it might even crash. If you have an SSD, things will slow down like crazy in the case of running out of RAM, that is. But that's just to say that this is pretty much a best case scenario. We are running DDR5 as well, so it's fast RAM, yeah, the GPU is running out of VRAM. It doesn't need to be at 4 gigabytes right there. Okay, it's 3.5, but it is running out of VRAM. Lots of things have already swapped into the RAM. But yeah, that RAM won't be filled up whatsoever, obviously. But yeah, this is a strong start for the GTX 1050 Ti. I'm liking what I'm seeing here, and I think with a little bit of FSR on quality, it will already be pretty playable. Not 60 FPS, obviously, but it's a 1050 Ti, so you can't really expect it to run AAA titles, recent ones, at 60 FPS and 1080p resolution. Or at least with 1080p visuals, because this isn't 1080p resolution anymore. It looks quite soft, but there are some games that look pretty much the same, even without the use of FSR, just using like TAA or something like that, you know. Anyway, there are plenty of enemies there. We need to start counting the FPS. There we go. Oh my god. Okay, you know what? Let's try to throw some grenades at them. Oh, there's a guy here. Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay, wait. Where's the guy? He probably went upstairs, right? I'm gonna help you, buddy. Stay there. Okay, no. This is a friendly... No! No, 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 no. Oh. Anyway, let's keep on going here. 1% lows are still far from being good. You know, at 27 FPS there. That indicates a little bit of stuttering. And stuttering is indeed happening. It's just not as emphasized as in some other titles when you run out of VRAM in other titles, you know? Alright, let's try to drop some... rubble on those enemies over there. I think I killed someone. No, not really. It was just an assist. Okay. Anyway, let's keep on going here. Okay, kill. Let's go back. Go back here. Come on. There's an enemy right there in the middle of the road. Okay, he just died though, so it's fine. I didn't get the kill. Yeah, unfortunately. Enemies there. One over here. They just keep on stealing my kills. You know what? I feel like a lot of developers would probably put a GTX 1050 Ti as the minimum requirements for this game, because a lot of them think that 30 FPS is what you should aim at with upscaling, you know, and that's true for a ton of games out there. Yeah, it still drops a little bit, as you can see, though, with some fire effects and so on. Yeah, oh my god, they're everywhere. Yeah, I'm playing the game, I'm having fun. I would not really buy it, at least at full price, to play like this, you know? It's not a very enjoyable experience. You are at a big disadvantage playing at 30 FPS. But hey, it works. And also, speaking of the minimum requirements of games, this game does not ask for a 1050 Ti. This is well below system requirements. I was going to help this guy, but, well, he skipped a revive. Yeah, this is well below system requirements. It asks for an RTX 2060, which is a much stronger card than this. There we go. Nice little kill there. I dumped an entire mag on top of him, but hey, it worked. Let's go. Oh boy, there are more of them here. Okay, another one down. Come on. Oh, there's a tank there. All right, 26. Yeah, it mostly drops more when you die or when you are close to fire effects, you know? So, not absolutely terrible, but I thought FSR would actually help it a little bit more than it's helping. Because with other GPUs, especially the recent ones, like the AMD 9000 series, you enable FSR on quality coming from native res, and you gain a lot of FPS, like 30 frames per second or something like that. But it seems like a very low increase in performance just because the baseline was already pretty bad and it still keeps on dropping from 30 frames per second. Also, this is not the most intensive map, so if you play a more intensive map than this one, things will be even worse, so keep that in mind. Also, I'm glad there aren't any claymores in this game, or bouncy betties like in Call of Duty, because otherwise these people camping would be basically camping here forever, you know? Oh! How are you there, dude? Damn! Couple of people on top of that building. That is weird, I have never seen them there. Also, we should definitely try 720p native resolution without any upscaling, because sometimes that works a little bit better than just using upscaling on top of 1080p. You sometimes get a little bit better clarity because of no anti-aliasing and no upscaling going on. Oh boy. Oh! Okay, the noob tube's back. Anyway, I'm gonna stop it right there. Okay, guys, this is still not an amazing experience. Yeah, it's a little bit more stable, but now the visuals are starting to be very, very soft. Alright, I'm using Performance FSR now. Surprisingly, Performance FSR in some other titles looks quite a bit worse than this. This is still usable. However, I would only recommend this for people running like 15-inch monitors, or even lower than that, honestly. Lower size. Okay, this guy's dead. Thought he didn't die there. Alright, let's start counting the FPS as well. This is running 540p internally. Okay, it's a really low resolution, 50% resolution scale compared to 1080p. And over here, it's still dropping from 30 frames per second, even with Performance FSR. So I think what's going on here is more of a bandwidth limitation. You know, we've seen this happening time and time again when I tested the GT710 and GT1030 and so on. The 1030 barely improved anything from going from like 720p all the way down to 160p, and that's a bandwidth limitation. The cards just don't have enough bandwidth to push higher FPS. Anyway, let's keep on going, guys. Testing GTX 1050 Ti also has its benefits, by the way. It's 30 degrees Celsius inside of my room. Very hot right now. I am sweating while making these videos, and testing the XTX 7900 XTX made it even hotter than that. So I was melting there, and now 1050 Ti only consuming 50 watts. Yeah, it's absolutely fine. No problems. Oh boy, I also stopped counting the FPS because I really want to play at 720p resolution next. Alright, there's a guy over there. Alright, good stuff. 10 bullets left. Is it enough? Nope, definitely not. Yeah, we're not gonna get that one, I think. Not with a pistol, at least. Yeah, okay. Anyway, I'm gonna disable FSR now. I'm not even gonna attempt, like, XeSS, because that's even more intensive than FSR, you know? But yeah, upscaling is off, anti-aliasing is off, so we're back to native resolution, but let's go down here and change it to 720p resolution. Okay, here we go. 1280 by 720. Lowest settings once again, of course, and okay, it's hitting 50 FPS. We haven't really seen 50 FPS yet in this video, right? Well, now we have, but before we changed it to 720p native resolution, yeah, that wasn't working with 50 FPS. It wasn't reaching that number. This is definitely going to be a little bit smoother, a little bit better than with FSR, even on FSR performance, which is an internal res, again, of 540p. So lowering down the resolution manually is the way to go, it seems like, in Battlefield. Oh boy, oh boy. There are many of them here, guys. There are many of them here. And I only have the pistol. Low ammo on this. 6 bullets. This is not enough. At least we have a friend here as well. So, good job, buddy. Good job. I'm gonna grab the kit from one of these guys. Oh my gosh, no! It's low on ammo as well! We're back to the pistol. Gosh damn it. Oh boy, I haven't done anything in a while. Also guys, it seems like at 720p resolution the RAM has gone down. It was at 16 gigabytes before, now it's at 14 gigabytes. It's barely hitting that actually. And the VRAM also went down a couple of 100 megahertz. So performance gains are definitely happening here. We're not VRAM limited, or at least not as VRAM limited as before. Although, yeah, I can still definitely feel a little bit of stuttering here and there, a little bit of a slowdown. But it's not the end of the world. It's actually going to be a pretty solid experience. If by solid we mean 30 plus FPS all of the time. It shouldn't drop anymore. Alright, not too bad. 14, 13, definitely worse than I usually do, but we've been playing with 30 FPS, so can't do miracles, right? The fact that it is playable and I could still enjoy my time here with the 1050 Ti is really nice, especially since this is still a beta as well. Okay, so I found that the Empire State, which is this new map from this beta... Oof, what the heck? We just broke everything just by parachuting here. Look at that. Look at how powerful I am. Am I like Hulk or something? What the hell? Anyway, this map is pretty intensive. Oh, we got the kill there. Didn't expect that to happen. I was ready to start the commentary all over again there, but no need. Let's go. Oh boy. Okay, come on. Oh, there are tons of them there. I've noticed with the XTX, 7900 XTX, that this map is a little bit more intensive than the other ones. However, in this area, this closed off space inside of a building, it doesn't seem to be the case, right? Oh boy. Okay, there we go. Nice. Come over here, buddy. I got you. Don't spot me. Okay, it's all good. There's a guy right there. Oh, and another one here. Ah, it's difficult. It's very difficult to aim at them and correct your aim, you know. Alright, so I don't really want to be inside of an area like that. The breakthrough in this map starts outside. Yeah, over here maybe? Or close to this area. And it's way more intensive. But it's not really dropping from 40 FPS, as you can see. this is quite decent from the GTX 1050 Ti once again. And I would not utilize FSR over this, because again, even though this is a shimmery, pixelated mess basically at 720p without anti-aliasing, I still prefer it to a blurriness mess, alright, with FSR. I'm scared. Alright, nobody here. There's a PC. I want to take a look at the PC. I want to take a look at the PC. There we go. Aha! So those textures aren't really allowing us to take a look at it. But I can tell that it has a power supply that's very old. It doesn't have a GPU. Or at least a dedicated graphics card, that is. And it uses VGA and, yeah, all that crap. Anyway, it's a really old PC there. So that's probably why they needed to optimize this so well, to run on those old PCs, right? Oh boy, they're shooting at us. I don't know what to do. Oh, there's a guy here. What the heck? Guys, well, this is... No, this is friendly. Okay. It's all good. It's all good. Lots of vegetation here. Alright, good stuff. We got one. Oh, there are more. Ah! Alright, you know what? This isn't really too intensive. So let me try to go to the other one, the other map that is the most intensive one. And that is the Iberian Offensive. Iberian coming from Iberia, so we should speak Spanish or Portuguese in this one. Então vamos a isso, meus amigos. Está aqui um tanque. Oh, shit. Okay. No. Do not speak English. Vamos proteger a Ibéria. Portugal é nosso, cara. It's very weird for me to speak Portuguese. I sometimes try in my videos, but oh, what are you doing on top of the stairs? Of course, it's Deus. Deus is God in Portuguese, that's why he killed us there. But yeah, I formatted my brain to think in English while I'm recording and speak English alone when I'm recording. There's a tank there, seriously. So I can't really do this in Portuguese. It would require a lot more mental work, or me not recording, because as soon as I flip that switch on the camera, I'm back to kind of normal, to my native language when I'm talking to my friends and playing this game with my friends, you know. Anyway, let's keep on. Oh my gosh, okay. That looked like netcode issue, but no. The guy just pushed this there. Alright, you know what? I'm gonna take a ride here with the tank. So this is the most intensive map in the beta so far. It's actually maybe not the most intensive one anymore, because Empire State was getting very similar FPS. So this and Empire State are very similar. Cairo in that sea point was also very similar. So maybe Liberation Peak is the only one that isn't as intensive as the others, or doesn't get as intensive as the others, no matter what you do. But yeah, seeing 45 FPS around that on average without dropping into the 30s means that the GTX 1050 Ti can definitely play this game, even in extreme circumstances, even in the most intensive maps. It will do fine of a job. It's not amazing, it doesn't look good by any means. This is really bad right now, it's really pixelated and so on. It's 720p in 2025. It shouldn't be a thing, you know. But if all you have is a GTX 1050 Ti and you can grab the beta for free, it's running right now, you can actually hop into it and play, I say give it a go. It can actually be fun, especially if you're playing with some friends. So that's been it for this one, guys. Hope you enjoyed this look at the 1050 Ti in Battlefield 6 Beta. Definitely performing a little bit better than what I expected. And, oh boy. Guy's just running. I thought he had C4 on that Jeep there and he was going to go against our tank. But no, everything is alright. That was a massive thumbnail right there. Anyway, oh boy, more people here. Okay, wait. Yeah! Just jumping around, killing the revived people and getting some more points. Hell yes. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one. Love you all. Bye-bye.